The following program is paid for and presented by John DeMasi. The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
WPG Talk Radio 95.5 presents Talk with a Purpose. Join the conversation by calling 609-407-1450. Now the host of Talk with a Purpose, John DeMasi.
We're saluting all of our presidents on this holiday weekend, and I always like to rank the three best presidents in my lifetime, and that's Reagan, Trump, and Kennedy. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But good morning and welcome to another edition of Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, right here on WPG Talk Radio 95.5. And as the man said, I'm John DeMasi. Good to have you with us. And yes, we do have a lot to talk about here today on the program. We will have a special appearance by retired Atlantic County Superior Court Judge Michael Donio. Judge Donio is coming on at 10 this morning, so we hope that you'll stick around for that. And in between, we've got a lot to cover in the next 3 hours, so stick around. 609-407-1450, that's our number here in the studio, 609-407-1450. At any time during the course of the show, if you have something to say, you want to chime in, contribute to the cause, 609-407-1450. And speaking of contributing to the cause, I don't know if you've ever had a radio show give away Girl Scout cookies. Do you know, Chris, if any? No, I mean, but today there is a box of Girl Scout cookies right here. There's 10 boxes, and someone will win the 10 boxes, and that's coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, so stick around for that. I mean, who does this? Give away Girl Scout cookies. Well, you see, it all started. The granddaughter needed to boost her sales, so I said, well, you know what? I'll take 10, and I'll give them away. So that's the backstory, okay? 609-407-1450, that's our number here in the studio. Did you watch the Super Bowl last Sunday, you and the rest of the world? I wanted to talk just briefly about the Taylor Swift effect. According to a new poll, 32% of surveyed Republicans believe that the popular singer is part of a covert effort to reelect President Biden later this year. I would believe it. Overall, 18% of Americans indicated they believed in the undercover effort. Are you a Swiftie?
No.
Is your daughter's got to be a Swiftie? I mean, that's the demographic. They're worried about voting, but her fans can't vote. Oh, well, we'll talk a little bit about that more today here on the show. But what I really wanted to start the show, and I really have a problem with this, and it's not because of anything racial. Speaking of the Super Bowl, once again, this year, we were treated to the Black National Anthem, otherwise known as Lift Every Voice and Sing. Say what you want about this song, but I believe that the song and the NFL are participating in a divisive moment. Don't we have a national anthem? I mean, I thought we did. Didn't you think we had a national anthem? And so here comes this black national anthem. Like everything else, we have a Miss Black America and a Miss America pageant. So they're not the same. A black TV network. And it goes on and on. And I like the way the black columnists spin this whole thing. They say that if some people had their way, there would still be a statue of Robert E. Lee in Charlottesville, Virginia. But how can you? I mean, how can you say that? It's like I don't know how to explain it other than to say it seems to me that it's divisive. Suppose we went on, and we've talked about this before. Suppose we went on and said, well, this is for the whites only. Are you kidding? You'd be crucified. So, in the case of the NFL, and I know what they're doing, they're bowing down to the woke leaders and the black community. And look, what did they do with Colin Kaepernick? They ended up donating money to the NFL. The NFL donated money to the black causes, I mean. So that's what they're doing. But why can't we achieve what the black community and all those who support racial equality, why can't we achieve that? Why can't we just say, this is one national anthem. This is for one people. This is for one ideology. And that's all Americans. It would seem to me that that's simple. But we just don't need another one of these endorsing another thing that's separate. It's separate from the other. And again, I always thought that the goal of the movement to racial equality was just that, racial equality. Not, well, they got the black anthem and they got this anthem. Hey, why don't we have a Chinese national anthem? Why don't we have other ethnic groups? Why don't we have a Spanish national anthem? Why don't we have those? And I don't understand why they just keep doing this. The people who are woke ask you, and anyone who's listening, that, we got to have a black national anthem, because if we don't, we got to have our own thing. Because if we don't, hey, they're still going to be marching and there's still going to be Confederate flags and there's still going to be all these things. And, well, that doesn't necessarily follow. So I really have a problem with this. And, they make a big deal out of it, too. The NFL makes a big deal out of it. Hey, we're woke. We're really promoting the black equality of 80% of the players in the NFL are black. Okay, we get that. We know that. So why do we have to have another thing? I don't see what the reasoning is. And, you read these black columnists and boy, the conservatives, they're going to be against this, but too bad. What? Suppose we said, too bad if they don't like it. We would be called a racist. And they call you that anyway. So you get the point that you have this black national anthem, but they still call you racist. Oh, racist. Racism is inherent in our society. Critical race theory. We got to have that. We definitely have to have that. We have to teach critical race theory. It just continues. And somebody's got to stop it. And if Trump gets in there and, he says something about this kind of a thing, oh, well, Donald Trump's a racist. It's just, I don't think it's ever going to end. I hope it does, but I don't think so. Talk with a Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. We bring in the one and only Seth Grossman, who really got a lot of mileage out of this Craig Calloway thing. I mean, national TV and all. Good morning, Seth. Welcome.
Good morning. Well, first of all, it's not President's Day. If you look at the legislation, it's actually George Washington's birthday, observed on, I guess, the third Monday in February. It was done by Lyndon Johnson in the Democratic Congress back in 1968. And it was all part of a plan to really fundamentally change America by no longer having holidays dedicated to the people who created America. So we stopped observing George Washington's birthday on February 22nd. We stopped observing Abraham Lincoln's birthday on February 12th. We took what used to be Negro History Week to celebrate the fact that Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, one of the first black civil rights leaders, were good friends and worked closely together. So Frederick Douglass celebrated his birthday on February 14th, Abraham Lincoln on February 12th. So that was to show the great American presidents how we created America with a problem of slavery back in 1776, but then we perfected the Union with Abraham Lincoln by ending slavery and guaranteeing civil rights, amending our Constitution together with Frederick Douglass. But the whole purpose of the holiday, of the changing the holiday so it's no longer on February 22nd for George Washington, is to do exactly what people are doing. We say, oh, it's not George Washington's birthday, it's President's Day. And we forget all about the people who founded our country. And again, that was all by design. The other thing, as far as the black national anthem, Lift Every Voice, it used to be called the Negro National Anthem. And ironically, when I went to a mostly black junior high school in Atlantic City, we never sang that song anywhere, even though we had mostly black teachers and, black administrators and so on, and same thing with Atlantic City High School. I never really heard that song until I was on city council and I'd attend Martin Luther King observances, because it was a black civil rights song, not a national American song. And how did the NFL turn into what it became? The NFL should celebrate our national anthem because America was based on the idea that we're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. And so the NFL and all the professional sports leagues are predominantly black because black Americans excel in those particular sports. So the whole purpose of professional sports was really to celebrate the American dream, which is that no matter, who your parents were or where you're from or what your religion or ethnic background, if you have talent, if you train, if you work, if you achieve, your achievement will be recognized based on your talent, not in the color of your skin. So that's the classic case for America for our one national anthem. So how did we get sidetracked, with turning the black professional sports figures into to make it a Black Lives Matter type of thing? Well, you go back to the culture. It really all started with that movie Django Unchained. Are you familiar with that movie?
No. But you've mentioned it several times, and
it's just a horrible, hateful movie that pretends to be history, but it's not history at all. It's all lies. And one of the big lies in that movie was that white slave owners had their black slaves fight to the death in these exhibitions to amuse white slave owners. And so the obvious fake history lesson that fake movie and hateful movie was teaching is that the professional sports, the NFL, is just another version of rich white people using black athletes to get themselves injured and killed for their amusement. So that whole movie, that whole presumption was fake. It never, ever happened in history. But a lot of, black teenagers would see that movie. They would think that the fake history was real history, and then they get scholarships, and then they go to college, and you would expect college to teach a real history, to say, oh, no, that movie, Django Unchained, it's all lies. You had, out of slavery, you had whites who fought against slavery through the Underground Railroad. You had, and by the way, there was not a sympathetic white figure in the entire movie. All the villains are whites or blacks who cooperated with whites, and the only heroes are people who hated whites and killed whites. So, that movie teaches this fake history lesson. But when the black athletes go to college, instead of teaching black athletes the real history with real academics and teaching how 310,000 white Americans died to end slavery, to talk about people who fought to end slavery for years before the Civil War, for people who fought for whites who fought for civil rights after the Civil War. None of that is taught. And so black athletes believed that even though they're making all this money in the NFL, they're still victims of discrimination because they're just performing for the amusement of whites. So that's how they use what should be a unifying event to divide people. And it's in many ways you can't blame black Americans. It's the white Hollywood, white liberals, white academics, all teaching black Americans this basic lie. And if anyone has read anything about what caused the Holocaust in Germany, what caused that hatred of Jews, it was that same teaching of the idea that if you don't have something, it's because somebody else has too much. Somebody's took things from you. It's totally un-American. And the fact that we have so many black Americans embracing this hateful doctrine that brought so much death and misery to Germany and Europe, it's just horrible. But that's one of the purposes of libertyandprosperity.com, to teach those lessons.
What else? You have your big fundraiser today.
Yes, we do. If you're listening on Saturday, I'm in the parking lot of Josie Kelly's right now. It's going to begin at 9:30, and it's interesting because you probably heard or saw that Jesse Waters did a real hit piece on Craig Calloway in his Monday night program, and he had a Republican candidate for U.S. Senate running in a Republican primary against Curtis Bashaw, and whoever wins that primary will run against the Democrat or for the seat now held by Bob Menendez. But in any case, we posted quite a bit of objection to how Jesse Waters presented that case, and on TV, and as a result, I got a call last night from I believe it's Michael. I forget his name, but Michael Lamarca, the executive producer for Jesse Waters. And I see. So the Fox News camera crew is here right now to interview, to watch our event and to hear from Craig Calloway in person. And it's going to be interesting. I had a long talk with the producer. We talked about how all of Craig Calloway's legal problems began when he started using his political skills against Democrats instead of against Republicans. And we talked about the bribery case. And I don't know if you're familiar with all those bribery cases that Chris Christie brought against elected officials in New Jersey for 8 years, but from 2001 to, I guess, 2008. But Chris Christie really had no experience as a prosecutor, no experience as a courtroom lawyer. But he made this reputation by supposedly cracking down on political corruption. And what he did, every politician that I know of can't get elected unless he or she gets campaign donations. And every person who gives campaign donations expects a favor from the politician getting the campaign donations. So what Chris Christie did, he realized that, he did some undercover work, and you could randomly go into any politician, whether for school board or public office, mayor, freeholder, senator, and probably 90%, if you would pretend that you want to give a campaign contribution and you're taping the person and recording the conversation, and if they say, okay, yeah, I'll help you out with your project, thank you very much, that's enough to send you to jail under New Jersey law. And you could randomly do that to anybody. And Craig Calloway was one of the ones caught in that Chris Christie net. But I don't think that it means that if anyone caught in that net is worse of a criminal than someone who wasn't caught in that net. But it's going to be very interesting whether Jesse Waters is going to present things differently after today. But he's here, and if anyone wants to see news in the making, it's still not too late. They're selling tickets at the door. 9:30 at Josie Kelly's, 908 Shore Road in Summers Point. Tickets are $75 each. So we do have that starting in a few minutes.
You got a lot of mileage out of that, didn't you?
Well, we didn't intend it. It's what they call it. They throw a lemon at you and you make lemonade. You do the best you can. And even the snow has eased up. The parking lot's clear. The streets are clear. So if anyone's coming, just drive slowly, walk carefully, take baby steps, and I'm sure we'll have a big turnout.
What else is going on?
Well, there was something called, and I don't know if you follow this, the Freedom to Read Act was snuck into the as a bill in the New Jersey legislature, which was designed to take away from local school boards the power to decide what books go in or out of their school libraries. And it would have had Governor Murphy would have set up rules that all school libraries had to have certain books and couldn't have certain other books. And that would completely strip local school boards of the power to have anything else, control their schools. Nobody knew about it, but thankfully there's a Northfield attorney with the Pacific Justice Institute called Karen White. She published a editorial column in the Press of Atlantic City, got a lot of attention. You had someone called Sean Hyland from the Family Policy Center, and Ethel Hermanow, who just got elected to the Galloway Township School Board. They really alerted parents throughout the state, and they actually went up to Trenton to protest adopting this law. And before they got there, the Democratic politicians who put this up took it off the agenda. So it may be a temporary thing, but it's certainly a victory for right now. And it certainly it just shows that when citizens make their voices heard, you can make changes. So that's a good thing.
You know, I'm not surprised at Murphy. Really not. I mean, it's just typical of his whole administration. That's
right. So and some other quick things going on. I spoke at the Faith and Freedom Coalition about the need for mass deportations, that American survival depends on it. I got a good response. The video is posted on the libertyandprosperity.com website. And also, I gave the same presentation on the Harry Hurley program on Wednesday. And anyone who missed it can just go to the libertyandprosperity.com site. It's 30 minutes. All those points are made. And going to websites and keeping in touch with your own news sources is important. I don't know if you follow the fact that George Soros, his hedge fund, is taking over 220 conservative radio stations throughout the country.
Wow.
Including 1210 AM in Philadelphia. It's called the Odyssey Network. Apparently, that radio network, which sponsors a lot of good conservative talk throughout the country, it has a lot of debt problems. George Soros purchased that debt and is going to use that as leverage to control the content on 220 conservative radio stations just before the 2024 elections this year, which is an alarming thing. And by the way, this is nothing new. You may recall that for the 2020 elections, Warren Buffett, Obama's favorite billionaire, bought hundreds of newspapers throughout the country, including the Press of Atlantic City, and you saw how they changed the editorial content and news content of the press overnight when Warren Buffett's company took over to just put a pro-Democrat, pro-woke, pro-Obama agenda. And so the same thing's happening with talk radio.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
That is really disturbing.
Yes, so we have to be alert. A couple of positive things. You know, nobody pays attention to Pakistan politics, but if you had to look at the three most radical Islamic jihadi countries in the world, I'd say there'd be Saudi Arabia, actually four: Saudi Arabia, Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. But in a stunning development, you had a former sports figure in Pakistan called Imran Khan said we need tolerance. We have to stop persecuting people who are not Muslim. We have to recognize the rights of Christian, Jews, and Hindus. And he was locked up. He was locked up. He's sitting in jail right now. And when they had the elections in Pakistan last week, he was a top vote getter, which just shows that there are a lot of people, even in Muslim countries, who do not like this jihad, this hateful doctrine being taught. So that's, in a way, gives us more hope that here in America and Europe, we're bending over backwards for these jihadis. But yet in India and Pakistan and in Israel, they're fighting back, and I think they're actually winning when they fight back. So that's something to think about. And the final point, movies. This is for Black History Month. There's a narrative. Whenever you see Black History Month, every hero is black, every villain is white, and it gives people a distorted sense of reality. So I think a good way to, I guess if you want to see entertainment and learn something, two old movies that are out there. One is called Hotel Rwanda, and the other one is called The Last King of Scotland. These are remarkable movies because they portray how there's good and evil in all races. And it's something that you could learn from and not try to judge people by the color of their skin. And I guess the final point, Vladimir Putin, a 44-year-old opponent of the regime in Russia, he was poisoned while he was running, speaking out against Putin in Russia. And he was treated and cured in Germany. He went back to Russia. He was immediately arrested as soon as he went back, and he died in prison. He's been in prison for the past 2 years. Now he's dead. So there's nothing romantic about Vladimir Putin. He's a communist. He grew up as a communist. We tell the whole story about Putin. In fact, we have a rare picture of Putin in his secret police uniform in Russia, his KGB uniform. And we have to understand that these people have been trained since childhood to create this dictatorship, and where truth doesn't matter, they lie, they bully people, they bribe people, and then if that doesn't work, they kill people. In fact, when I was in Russia in the last days of the Cold War, all the Russians, they called the Communist Party the mafia. They're just like the mafia, and just like you shouldn't glorify the mafia, you shouldn't glorify dictators like Putin. Anyway, it's time for me to go in for the Liberty and Prosperity fundraiser at Josie Kelly's, and I see a couple last-minute stragglers walking in the door right now, so I'm going to join them.
Okay.
LibertyandProsperity.com if you miss it. By the way, we're going to have a video of the presentation, so anyone who does miss it will see it on our website. Have a great weekend, and thank you very much.
You too, Seth. Seth Grossman, the big fundraiser today, 9:30. You still have time to get over there. Josie Kelly's, 908 Shore Road in Summers Point. It's libertyandprosperity.com is the website. I'm John DeMasi. It's Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. We'll get started with the calls. John and Craig and maybe you at 609-407-1450. We'll do all that after these words.
Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com.
And we are back here on Talk with a Purpose, 609-407-1450. Let's talk to John in Ocean City. John, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Yes, good morning. This might be old news, but hopefully I'm more than a day late, but hopefully not a hour short. I want to bring up the Carlson-Putin interview. The Hillary Clinton had called out Carlson as being a useful idiot for Putin, that being just another Western dupe being fooled by Russian oligarchs. However, a useful idiot is lied to. And Putin said a lot of truthful things. However, he did hold back information, too. He did a correct retelling of Russian history going back to 862 A.D. That's when Varangian Vikings had traveled down the Dnieper River from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, displacing the Huns in control of the Crimean Peninsula, who had displaced the Goths, who had displaced the Cimmerians, from which Crimea gets its name from. That goes back 1000 BC. So that goes back 3,000 years of history there. But
Okay, what's your name?
let's see. The key dynasty is what was founded around Kiev. Kiev is actually Kiev, or Kiev, however you want to pronounce it. It's named after Ukrainian Prince Kiev. And Kiev literally means the city of Kiev. And it was actually these Vikings that had actually expanded into a Russia, and they coined that whole area Kievan Rus, the land of Kiev and the land of Rus, Russians. So actually, Kiev was founded, or Kiev, however you want to pronounce it, was founded in 482 A.D., which actually precedes Russia by 380 years, which was founded in 862 A.D. So he didn't say that part. He didn't volunteer that information. And actually, Ukraine has an older history. And the fact of the matter is that according to classical antiquity, the era of ancient civilizations or old civilizations ended in the 5th century. So that qualifies as an old civilization, even though it wasn't coined or classified as a state. It was an old civilization centered around the city of Kiev. So, and it's Ukrainian. So it's been Ukrainian all the way back. But Putin didn't volunteer that information. Stalin made that a Russian satellite, that whole area, the Crimean Peninsula and the body of Ukraine. But that was for control. He needed to have control of that area. That's why he did that. However, Putin was a KGB agent, a part of the USSR that made Ukraine a state. So he can't put the onus on Stalin. And now he's going to go ahead and say that they're not even a real state. That's bogus. That's bogus on his part anyway. But it was actually Chucky Schumer who wants to send billions of dollars into Ukraine. That's 3,000 years of conquest and conflict going on there. It's been going on and on and on and on, all the way back 3,000 years. So Chucky Schumer wants to send in billions more American taxpayer monies into that area. Well, it was actually Sergeant Sangari, who was raised in the Middle East and was actually part of Special Forces. He's Lieutenant Colonel Sergeant Sangari, who had said that the military-industrial complex, he was a part of Special Operational Forces and Intelligence over there in Eastern Europe and in the Near Middle East. He had said that the military-industrial complex, which is a part of the institution of the West, does not want that war to come to an end. They want to make billions and billions of more dollars. And there's already 500,000 Ukrainian soldiers that are dead. There's only 195,000 Russian soldiers that cross the border into Ukraine. So that tells me that the Russians are a formidable people. And the whole point about Putin, he's such a great and wonderful guy. How come he had Chechen boots on the ground in Ukraine? Chechnya is a known radical Islamist province. They're suicide bombers. That's radical Islam. So he had radical Islamists going into Ukraine and invading a land that has his fellow Eastern Orthodox Christian brothers and sisters there. So he's not that great of a guy after all, is he? So I want to say that, thanks for letting me call in.
Thanks, John. Thanks for that very long explanation, but necessary. Talk with a Purpose is the show. Saturdays 9 till noon. WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. We have we'll take Craig after the break, and then Roscoe, and then Bob. And then maybe you at 609-407-1450. Coming back with more Talk with a Purpose in just a moment. But first, we always talk about there's no controversy here about B.F. Mazzeo. And, you know, I've talked about a variety of things. And if you had your Super Bowl party and you catered through B.F. Mazzeo, you know, they have a full line of catering. I mean, you can get anything imaginable at B.F. Mazzeo. And what you do is you go on the website, bfmazzeo.com, you check it out, and you'll see. So, like, if you're going to prepare for a party or whatever it is, you can look it up and, hey, you've got your party. And it's that simple. Just call and order ahead, and there you go. There's your party. Of course, they also have prepared foods, which are second to none. And I've been enjoying, I got on this chicken salad kick. You know, you ever get on these kicks where you got to have this and you just keep having it? So I just keep getting chicken salad, and it's the best chicken salad I've ever had. I mean, what could you do to chicken salad? Well, it's really delicious. That's all I can say. But it's not just that. It's all kinds of prepared foods and meals. Like, you can get a couple of meals for the week. You don't feel like cooking? Hey, you just go to B.F. Mazzeo and you get, there's prepared salmon and there's prepared chicken marsala. I mean, there's all kinds of things, too numerous to mention. And the prepared food section is very expansive, and you'll be sure to find something that you like there. B.F. Mazzeo, 601 New Road, Northfield, and again, online at bfmazzeo.com. The finest fresh fruit and produce you'll find anywhere. And, of course, don't forget about the wholesale division. You know, if you run a commercial kitchen or you're a hospital or you're a school or whatever, just call B.F. Mazzeo and they'll take care of you. That's very simple. They've got a lot of trucks in the back there, so they're always moving. B.F. Mazzeo, 601 New Road, Northfield, and online at bfmazzeo.com. Coming back with more Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
If you're interested in driving one of the finest automobiles on the market today, then you'll want to check out all of the fabulous new and pre-owned Lexus at Lexus of Atlantic City. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Driving a Lexus is like no other vehicle on the market. Test drive one for yourself at Lexus of Atlantic City. Whether it's new or pre-owned, you'll be more than satisfied. In fact, Lexus is consistently number one when it comes to customer satisfaction. Visit Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Or you can check out their outstanding selection of new, pre-owned, and L-certified pre-owned vehicles on their website, LexusOfAtlanticCity.com. That's LexusOfAtlanticCity.com. Or if you want more information, call 609-641-0008. Lexus of Atlantic City, now celebrating their 26th year in the area. A dealership that you'll enjoy. No pressure, no gimmicks, no hassle, no hype. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. And remember, always online at LexusOfAtlanticCity.com.
Your WPG Talk Radio 95.5 AccuWeather forecast for South Jersey. We have a winter weather advisory in effect until 10 a.m. this morning. For today, intervals of clouds and sunshine with a snow shower early this morning, then becoming breezy, high 40. For tonight, breezy this evening, otherwise clear to partly cloudy skies with a low of 19. For tomorrow, breezy with plenty of sunshine with a high of 44. On Monday, plenty of sunshine with a high of 47. I'm AccuWeather's Caitlin Lawrence on WPG Talk Radio 95.5.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose, 609-407-1450. That's our number here in the studio. And we're going to get started here again with Craig in Northfield. Craig, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Well, good morning, John. How are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Not bad. Little snow, nothing major. Kind of made it look nice for us.
Yeah, and it'll be gone by tomorrow.
It'll be gone today. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Nothing to talk about this
No, not at all.
All right, let's go up to space first because, I saw how President Obama's personal assistant now, I forget what his name is, that little short guy with the Admiral's Navy outfit on. Russia's been up in space with an arm and technology to take down our satellites for a long, long time, for those people that don't know that. And China, too. but, just now they're going to discuss it. So the United States under Obama, allowed us to be in harm's way by China and Russia having that capability. And until SpaceX under Trump, we started then to have some defense mechanism because Trump understood the emergency of that. I want to agree with Seth there for a second. Don't fall off your chair, Seth. But that, that Soros thing, John, this is a very serious thing here. I want you to understand.
I know.
The 220 stations, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
Because guess who Soros' son is dating?
I don't know who.
Anthony Weiner's ex-wife.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, don't I always bring up some nice tidbits for you?
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so now here, listen, I got to tell you now, for those people that don't remember, that was Hillary Clinton's personal assistant.
Yes.
Who had that laptop that we can't find. Another laptop from hell, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that was number 2. Number 3, we discussed about Obama spying on Donald J. Trump, and everybody thought, oh, these guys are crazy. You remember when Donald J. Trump, he had Obama with suction cups and a magnifying glass on Trump Tower spying in for those people so you can get a little visual. But there you have it. It came out this week that actually Obama, with Biden and the CIA, the FBI, all of them, the whole trifecta, were spying on Donald J. Trump. And they started with Hillary Clinton, this whole Russiagate thing with Mueller. You understand what happened this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it goes back to, the quality. And so you can see what we got. We got a bunch of thugs here, and you can see that with these court cases that we have, because it appears the quality, I'll tell you, the quality of these prosecutors I got to tell you, are 5-star, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I mean, come on. You can't make this stuff up.
No.
I mean, just think. Now, John, you got to remember, because I know I got to be quick here. They've all been caught and communicating with the White House to tie into the Justice Department to take down Donald J. Trump with that $453 million. And I got to tell you, I think I could get a loan for $18 million to buy Mar-a-Lago. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't even think I'd have to put any money down.
No.
I think I could do a no money deal down and probably get a wonderful interest rate.
Yeah.
So, I just want to leave you with this. How's the polls looking for Donnie Trump? Still.
Looking good.
Possibly going to jail, right? 53% margin over Tricky Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay. John, thank you for allowing me to call. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks for the call. Roscoe and EHT. Roscoe, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Hey, good morning, John. Great show you have there.
Thank you.
I appreciate Seth Grossman too. He's a great speaker, and he speaks the truth. But I just wanted to call because I'll preface this with, I'm a true independent. I voted for Obama, and I voted for Trump twice.
Okay.
I have a concern, you and I were of the same generation, about the same age. I was raised World War I and World War II people. My father, his last mission was on D-Day. He flew 2 missions to complete his 30th mission. And in his generation, in his squadron, only 18% survived. So, I took care of him until he was 102 years old, and I lived the life of a 102-year-old man by doing so. I heard all the stories, and I just want to say that I am very concerned because, I agree with many of Trump's policies. I wanted to vote for him, but. And I tried to explain this to Harry. He cut me off, called me a name, and then castigated me for 3-4 callers and forward. I'm very concerned about what Trump said about how he just rolled off his tongue like, and he would encourage Putin to invade other countries that don't pay. That that has bugged me all week. It's of the same view I had when he called Putin a genius for invading the Ukraine. That bugged me. I got over that. But, Trump, I understand he's persecuted. The Democrats have persecuted him. But he talks so much that I swear he's bound to offend everybody at some point. Well, he reached my point. And I at this point, I could not vote for him because...
Well, yeah, I see your point. I do see your point. But I think when he says about Putin and he's invading, he's thinking from a dollars and cents standpoint, and that's a slippery slope. So I see your point.
Well, here's John. Here's something. The last time he met with Putin, he met alone. He wouldn't let anybody go in with him.
Yeah.
So when somebody rolls that off their tongue, to me, it's like saying, if you ever heard somebody say, he had two friends, and he said, if he didn't pay, I'd encourage somebody to kill him.
Yeah.
You heard that. Yeah. You heard somebody say that, roll it off their tongue so easily. You don't know what they would say in private.
Yeah.
He didn't go in there and talk to Putin in private. That concerns me. I want to vote for the guy. I like his policies on the border. But NATO has survived, and all the countries have survived since World War II, based on if you attack one country, you attack them all. That policy.
Yeah.
Where's it going to go? And for that reason, now Harry Hurley jumped all over me. He said, who would you vote for, Trump, Biden, or Haley? And he annoyed me. I said, at this point, I would vote for Chris Christie. And then he cut me off and castigated me. At this point, I would vote for Seth Grossman. Yeah, okay, I changed.
Well, he's not running, and Seth is not running. But the point is, Roscoe, and what you really have to think about is, okay, you didn't like what Trump said, and I get that. But who is going to do the best overall for this country? That's what you have to think about. And it certainly isn't Biden.
Oh, I agree.
So, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, if it is Biden versus Trump, I mean, you're kind of locked into to Trump, and you just you gotta hope that this Putin thing, it's not a big deal. So, that's all I could say about it. I
agree with you, but yeah. I think at this point today, I would have to abstain. I couldn't vote for either of them, and I'm not a big fan of Nikki Haley. I honestly, I probably would vote for her at this right now. I want to vote for Trump, but as an independent, I'm having a hard time reconciling it. Because you say what's best for the country, but is it best for the country to have Putin invading Estonia? Because after he said that, the day after Trump said that, it was publicized. Putin put troops on Estonia, and he declared the leader of Estonia, an enemy of the state. The day after that became public.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned, and I don't want to. Harry Hurley, I respect him, but he's younger than us.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of exuberance. Right. He's got a lot of exuberance, and he only had 2 hours of sleep. He said, so I forgive him. The way he treated me, but it bugged me all week, especially when he wouldn't let me reply.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your show.
Thanks for the call, Roscoe, and we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully for the best. That's all I can say. Talk with a Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. Bob is on the line. We'll talk to him after the break, and maybe we'll talk to you. 609-407-1450, 609-407-1450. We are rapidly wrapping up hour number one. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. We'll come back after these words.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group, 856-751-1771, 856-751-1771, or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose, 609-407-1450. Let's talk to Bob in Cape May. Bob, good morning, or in Florida, I should say.
Hey, good morning, John. Hey, so, look, I wasn't really going to talk about this, but I really need to respond to Roscoe, and I understand, his motivations, I think, are very good here, but he needs to realize the implications of sitting on the sidelines, not voting for President Trump in this coming election, okay? And, a vote for Biden is a vote for continued open borders. The whole makeup of our country is going to get changed. You're going to have D.C. statehood. You're going to have Puerto Rican statehood. If you're okay, Roscoe, with the radical left taking this country over, then just sit on the sidelines, because that is what is going to happen.
Yeah.
And specifically, though, here, I want to respond to Trump, Putin. First of all, what President Trump said, he said in jest. Okay, he wasn't green-lighting Putin to invade Eastern Europe. That's not the case. And you look at the Trump policies, he did more to hurt Putin than Obama and Biden by far. And specifically, oil prices, because we unleashed our oil drilling, oil prices went down incredibly. That hurt the Russian economy, really hurt them. And it hurt them so much that, Putin was not able to wage war against other countries. And what did Biden do? First day in office, well, he killed the XL pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
He declared war on fossil fuels. He shut our investors are not investing in this country to drill anymore because the Biden administration wants to implement the Green New Deal, electric cars, and again, no fossil fuels. So why are you going to invest in that? Well, it was a godsend for Putin. Their economy is doing incredibly well, the Russian economy. So Trump's policies were really rough on Putin. He wasn't in bed with Putin, Roscoe. You look at his actions. All right, Putin did not dare any invasion. He invaded Crimea under Obama. He invaded Ukraine under Biden. In between, we had Donald Trump. Okay, Putin respected the United States when Trump was our leader here. So, that's what we're talking about here. Is a Biden presidency is filled with continued disasters for our country. One other point about the Russia collusion and Trump getting this idea that Trump was Putin's guy in the 2016 election, and Craig shed some light on this. But what happened here was the CIA under Obama got their foreign intelligence partners to point the finger at various Trump appointees like Carter Hall, like Papadopoulos, and that got the FBI very, willing to cooperate to investigate all these Trump associates, because the cloud of suspicion was placed on them by foreign intelligence agencies, and those agencies, those foreign intelligence agencies, were nodded. They were given the green light to do this by our CIA under Obama. So Trump is the victim here, fellas. That's the truth.
Yeah,
he is the victim. The all this chaos, all these lawsuits. And, of course, he's not perfect. He opens his mouth when he shouldn't. He says things sometimes when he shouldn't. He picks fights when he shouldn't. But, under Trump, we had peace and prosperity. The middle class was doing great.
And no inflation. No inflation.
Of course, John. The Trump policies were good for the working people of this country. You get this... You get these union leaders that stab their members in the back. They're working class union members like the United Auto Workers. This idiot that heads, his name's, I believe, Fain, the president of United Auto Workers, endorses Biden, loves Biden, and Biden's going to kill 50% of the UAW jobs with his electric car initiative. No doubt about it. It takes half the workers to build an electric car.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
So, anyway.
Thanks a lot for the call, Bob. We appreciate it. 609-407-1450. What we're going to do here, we have Judge Donio at 10 o'clock. We're going to take Kevin first in the 10 o'clock hour, and then we'll get to Judge Donio. So that's the lineup so far here on Talk with a Purpose. Every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. Judge Donio, and a lot to talk about with him. And phones are open. So if you want to talk to the judge, this is a perfect opportunity to do that. 609-407-1450. Talk with a Purpose. Hour number 1 is in the books, and hour number 2 is on the way. And you know what we always say. Don't go away.
WPGG Atlantic City, WENJ HD3 Millville, a Town Square media station. Everything you need to know in 6 minutes starts now. Talk Radio 95.5 presents Talk with a Purpose. Join the conversation by calling 609-407-1450. Now the host of Talk with a Purpose, John DeMasi.
Hour number 2, Talk with a Purpose, every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Also heard on 1450 AM and always online at WPGTalkRadio.com. I'm John DeMasi. Good to have you with us. Let's get a leftover phone call from the first hour. Kevin in EHT. Kevin, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Good morning, John, and I'm interested in hearing the judge speak too. I would just like to read something to you and then ask you one question. I subscribe to an aviation magazine that's printed out of California, and I just want to read a paragraph of something that message from the publisher. This guy is so spot on and he just has great things to say and very frank. But let me just read this. In America, we have the ability to read and absorb. Public libraries are wonderful institutions that are mainly staffed by equally wonderful people wanting to help Americans gain knowledge. A few weeks ago, I went to the Los Angeles Main Library. It is a pretty amazing institution that was nearly destroyed in a terrible fire that consumed hundreds of thousands of books. Today, many of those books have been replaced, but, and here's the big but, my visit was almost stomach-churning. hundreds of unwashed homeless individuals and drug addicts now fill the library tables. They are not catching up on the latest novel or reading new nonfiction. Nope. They are squatting, looking for handouts, overflowing toilets, and stinking up the place.
Jeez.
I asked the head librarian, a nice lady, but she had defeat in her eyes. We can't do anything about it, she said. Politicians have rewritten the laws on the homeless can take up residence inside the building rather than on the outside. Why? So the voting public does not see the vast waves of unwashed filling our streets. Better to stuff them inside a public building and let the voters think politicians are cleaning up our streets.
Only in California, huh?
Yes, yes. And this is something you'll never hear about or see.
No.
But this is a guy that saw it in person. But my question to you is, what did you think of the ruling on the smoking in the casinos? Again.
Did they rule on that yet?
Yes, they said some guy, I don't know what his name, it wasn't Chittarelli, but it kind of sounded like that. He came up with a new, not law, but whatever they put forward, that they're still going to allow them to have the 25%, which means that 50% of the casino is full of smoke, and it's affecting everyone still. And I just thought that was so horrible that you can't go to a restaurant and smoke, but you can go to a casino and smoke.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I just don't understand, when are they going to wake up and actually give a crap about their employees? But I'll let you go with John.
Yeah, that's when are they going to? Smoking is very bad. I mean, I don't have to tell you. I mean, all the statistics out there, it's really horrible. And I don't know when they're going to ban it, but of course the casinos make money, so they're going to dictate a lot of that.
I wonder if the big tobacco, is sending money this way to try to get these guys to change their minds or whatever.
Could be. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Kevin, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And without further ado, we bring in retired Atlantic County Superior Court Judge Michael Donio. Judge, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Morning, John. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Okay.
Did you enjoy Florida?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice down there for a week. Yes.
Yeah. Good to have you back here on the show, and I'll let you talk about your beloved Villanova basketball because I know they're not doing real well, but what's the status?
Well, they beat Georgetown last night, a game they had to win, because if they lost, it would have been very bad. The big question always is, are they going to get into the tournament now? So it looks as though, to me, they're 14-11. They have 6 games left. To me, I think to be in the conversation on Selection Sunday, I think it's imperative they're going to have to win 4 of these 6 games and get to 18 wins. And I think that they would have to win 2 games in the Big East tournament to get to 20. If they do that, I think they could get in. If they don't do that, if they get to like 18 or 19, they're going to be on the bubble. And I think what ultimately may happen is the 3 games that they lost in the city to Drexel, St. Joe, and Penn is going to be a killer for them. That's the way I see it flushing out.
Yeah.
They have some good wins. They beat North Carolina.
Yeah.
They beat Memphis. They have some good wins. But those 3 losses in the city are going to come back to bite them. So I think there's a chance they could get in. I think they have to get to 20 total. And to do that, I think they're going to have to win 2 games in the Big East tournament.
Yeah.
Because of these 6 games they have left, 1 is at Connecticut. That's a loss. They have Creighton. They have Providence, Butler, and Georgetown again. So they got to go 4-2 and get 2 Big East wins, and then I think they could sneak it. Other than that, they're going to be on the outside again.
You know, I feel sorry for the coach because how do you follow Jay Wright?
Well,
I mean, I feel sorry for him.
Well, I don't know. You feel sorry for him. The whole game has changed.
Yeah, that's true.
Jay, I've talked to him and seen the interviews, and he says there was a whole bunch of reasons, but there's no question the main reason was these rule changes, transfers, NIL, paying these kids. There's no control anymore. The NCAA, in my view, totally blew this thing because they knew that Supreme Court case decision was going to come out. They knew it was up there for 2 years. They had 2 years to put rules and regulations in to, somehow, make this thing work, and they didn't do it. So now the Supreme Court rules these kids could get paid, and now there's no rules in place. And now when you recruit a kid, I'm told by people that are coaches, they ask 2 questions right off the bat. How much am I going to play, and how much are you going to pay?
Yeah.
And if they don't like the answer, they're going somewhere else.
That's right, yeah.
But to make it worse, if you sign them and they don't play enough, they leave after a year and they go to another team. There's kids right now, if you watch games, that the announcers tell you he's with his 3rd team in 3 years. Jeez. Baseball and football, they don't even allow that. You have to play a number of years before you're a free agent. I mean, this is like the Wild West. You come and go as you please. So there was no way Jay was going to put up with that.
Yeah.
Because he built that program on a certain culture. You come in, maybe you have to redshirt for a year. If you remember, Mikal Bridges redshirted for a year.
Yes, he did. Yes.
And you're going to learn our system, and I'm going to make you into a player, and I'm going to make you into a pro. No. Today they want to know how much you paying me and how much am I playing.
It's like the pros.
So Jay, look, God bless him. He got out when the going was good. He made his money. He's got a nice gig now with CBS. No pressure, no headaches. This would not have gone, I don't know how Jay would have handled it because Jay the way he ran his program was his way.
Yeah.
And if he couldn't run it his way, I don't know how successful he would have been.
Yeah.
But it's totally different now. I got to tell you, it's very sad to me following and watching college basketball, playing in college for a year, to watch what's happened here. It's sad because it'll never go back to the way it was.
Yeah, that's for sure. 609-407-1450. Judge Donio is here, and he's got a lot to talk about here. We'll talk about a couple of things. What did you think, and this just came down yesterday, what did you think of the Trump decision where the judge said he's banned from his business for 3 years and fined like $380 million or whatever it was? What did you think of that?
Well, a couple things. First of all, when you hear that somebody's got to pay $355 million, your first question would be, to whom, for what? Now, they overvalued his assets. Okay. Did the banks lose money? I'm told no. Were the banks out millions of dollars because of him not being completely candid, perhaps, on his valuations of his business? I'm told no. The money, as I understand, is going to go to the state of New York, $355 million. First of all, I don't think that's going to get upheld on appeals. Because when you have something like that, whether it's a civil lawsuit or the attorney general brings it, you have to show that somebody's damaged, and I don't from what I followed, it doesn't appear that anybody was damaged financially. This was a witch hunt from the beginning. The Attorney General ran for election on a platform of get Trump. And let me say from the beginning, I'm not sticking up for Trump. I'm not a Trump guy, all right? I think that Trump has major issues. I think that what he has done to the presidency and the name calling and all that, I was a Ronald Reagan guy. I think that our president of the United States has to show class and has to show authority, not calling people's names and not doing all these crazy things. So I'm not sticking up for Trump, okay? I'm not a Trump guy. But this appears to have been, one of these witch hunts. And let me tell you something. You got to give the Democrats credit. You've got to give them credit because they're so devious that, after he lost the election, you didn't hear anything about all these things for 2 years, did you?
No.
But it happens to get timed so that case number 1, case number 2, case number 3, case number 4 just happens to come along at a time when there's an election coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're you got to give them credit. They did this thing. They planned it this way. Their game plan is to have him sitting in courtrooms from now till November and not out, campaigning or whatever. It's sad. It really is both ways. It's sad that it looks like come November, we're going to have 2 people on the ticket that, in my humble opinion, neither one of them should even be on the ticket. It's just sad. I feel sorry for our kids, our grandkids. They're in school, they're learning about this stuff, and they're being brought up by thinking, well, this is the way politics works. You call people names, you lie, you do this, you scheme, and they think that this is the way it's done. And Ronald Reagan's probably turning over in his grave.
Oh yeah.
So, but I do think that case was a witch hunt. I think that there's appears to be no damages to any financial institutions. I mean, look, John, if you're a banker and I come to you for a loan and I tell you my house is worth $10 million, I mean, are you going to get an appraisal? You're going to send somebody with a drive-by to look at my house before you loan me $8 million?
Probably not. Probably not. No.
Well, you're not? Okay, shame on you if you're not going to do that. But, the banks, they do their due diligence also. They're in business to make money. They charged him, rates that they thought were appropriate. And from all accounts, they got paid. And, it's just, I don't know. To me, it was a witch hunt. I don't think you heard the last of it. I mean, I don't know what his wherewithal is financially. $80 million with this woman, $355 million. He's spending millions of dollars in legal fees. I don't know where this all ends for him. I really don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's baffling to me. And, well, I wanted to ask you, did you ever, when you were on the bench, 20 years on the bench, did you ever make a decision on a case and you said, well, I'm not really going to charge this guy because he's too old, he's too frail, he's too forgetful, and it wouldn't be fair. Did that make sense to you?
Well, no. First of all, as judges, we don't charge people.
Right.
We try the case.
Right.
If somebody is, quote, incompetent, there's a procedure to go through to have them declared incompetent. All right, doctors evaluate them, et cetera, and then perhaps charges are not brought, and they're put into a medical facility in lieu of going to jail. There's cases, as you hear all the time, somebody pled not guilty by reason of insanity. That they didn't understand their actions, or they didn't have the mental capacity, for that. So did I ever make that decision? No. But you're probably talking about the report that came out of the classified documents with Biden?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, I have problems with that as well. I mean, the special counsel gets appointed to investigate, okay? So it's the same thing that Trump is going to stand trial for, right, about classified documents.
Yes.
Take them. So they do an investigation. Now, remember this. With Biden, you're going back 12 years from when he was vice president.
Right.
Okay, so now turn the clock back. He's not 80 years old. Maybe he's 68 or 70 years old. So the issue is, did he take classified documents that he wasn't supposed to take, a la what Trump did, or didn't he? But this guy writes 300-page report or whatever it was. I don't know. I didn't read it. And he comes to a conclusion that, he did do these things, but he says, I don't think he should be charged, because if he's charged, he'll come across as an infirm old man with a bad memory. That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
So now, he's being the juror. He's being the guy that decides whether there's charges, and he's deciding the case. That's for a jury to decide.
Yeah.
And that's not for a jury to decide based on Biden's capacity today, but at the time, 10, 12 years ago, when he took these documents and did what Trump did and got charged. So, again, it appears that you have two different sets of rules. Now, of course, the Democrats are all up in arms, and now we hear that there were letters going back and forth before this report was released, and while it was released, telling them not to release this and not do this and that, and the Democrats are hollering foul, because now in the report, somebody is saying that Biden, in his current capacity, has a bad memory and he's infirm or whatever. So they're saying, oh, God, you're piling on us. The Republicans are saying, wait a minute, he did the same thing that you charged Trump with, but you're making a recommendation not to charge him because he has bad memory and he's infirm. So nobody's happy.
Yeah.
And again, how does it look to the people in this country? It just looks horrible.
Yeah.
It looks like there's two tiers of justice.
That's right.
It looks like, and when you hear the word politics, people squirm. It's sad. It's bad. It's really bad.
Okay, we're going to take a break, Judge. So we're going to do what we do in radio, pay some bills. Judge Michael A. Donio is with us. He's the retired Atlantic County Superior Court judge, and he's commenting on a couple of things. And if you have a question, you want to talk to the judge, 609-407-1450. That's our number here in the studio, 609-407-1450. The program is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. And I'm John DeMasi. We'll come back with more with Judge Donio and your calls in just a moment. But first, we want to talk about the good stuff, and that is Lexus, courtesy of Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. I was driving the other day, and driving right next to me was the new TX. That's the big SUV. The one where they got the 3 seats in the back, and, and the kids will fight over who's going to sit in the back. That's always fun. But it is really, really a superior automobile. And you may want to check that out. If you have, you're taking a lot of kids or grandkids and whatever, you're driving them to soccer practice or whatever the case happens to be, then this is probably a car that you should look at, the Lexus TX, and it's available at Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. But if you're not looking at that, you're looking at some other things, maybe you want to look at pre-owned vehicles. The L Certified is the Lexus vehicles that are really the best of the best. That is their version of the premium pre-owned vehicles. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT, and online at aclexus.com, aclexus.com. And, you check out the website, you'll see the pre-owned vehicles, and you'll see the new cars. You'll see it all. You check it out, and then you stop by the dealership, and you look, and I'll tell you, you'll be really, really amazed at some of the vehicles that you see. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Online at aclexus.com, aclexus.com. We're coming back with more Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
I'm Seth Grossman for libertyandprosperity.com. Everyone who lives near the ocean or the bay knows that we have a bad storm and flooding about every 20 years. Some people want their shore houses built on pilings. However, others like me would rather pay for major repairs and improvements every 20 years than walk up and down an extra set of steps every day. At one time, Americans were free to decide what kind of house we lived in, but not anymore. If you live in any shore town from Brigantine to Cape May, you may not get a permit for new bathrooms or a new kitchen unless you first spend another $75,000 to raise your house 14 feet off the ground. Learn the details and what we can do about it. Visit libertyandprosperity.com. Help us reach more people. Join our weekly breakfast. Donate what you can to keep us on the air and online. libertyandprosperity.com.
And we're back here. Judge Donio is available during the week. Yeah, he's still working. He's not retired. Come on. He's too young to retire. If you want to reach him during the week, 609-481-2919. That is his office number. And he handles a lot of arbitration cases. So, or whatever your legal situation happens to be, if you want to get in touch with him, Judge Donio, 609-481-2919. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. We have Bill in Ocean City. Bill, you're on with Judge Donio. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
A couple quick questions, if I may. You said earlier that Democrats should be given credit for the way they run their politics in elections, but should they get credit when the lawyers prosecuting Trump are violating the law? For example, Jack Smith was appointed by Attorney General Garland, but that's contrary to law. They needed to get a congressional law to create his office, and then the president had to nominate Jack Smith to the office. They didn't do either of that. So he's a private citizen. He's not an officer of the government. So why would a judge let that even come into court? They should have thrown it out at the front door.
You're right, and I was being facetious when I said that the Democrats, know what they're doing. I was being facetious. How they planned everything to coincide with this election, and the Jack Smith thing is just another example of that happening. But the judicial system doesn't have authority to undo that. Because those appointments, come from Congress and come from the people that, run the politics and come from the.
But it didn't come
Attorney
from Congress.
General.
It came from Garland.
The Attorney General, who's appointed by Biden. So it all stems down.
He doesn't have the authority to appoint a special counsel.
Well,
he doesn't have the authority to do it.
Well,
it's in the law.
They did it. They did it, and they do it, and they get away with it. And it's sad. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My second question is a hypothetical. We have a lot of ballot drop boxes still that they're using, and they're locked up, so you can't take votes out of them. And every day they're supposed to be collected. But let's say, for example, a drop box is used all day long, and then 3 a.m. in the morning, somebody, a couple guys who are clothed in a way you can't recognize, are seen on this security video dumping hundreds of ballots in that box. And it's brought to your court. Do you throw all those ballots out, even the legal ones?
Well, that's never happened. I never really sat on election duty, but I know that the judges do have authority if there's evidence of wrongdoing and there's evidence of ballots that are not proper. The judges do have an authority to throw them out.
Well, the New Jersey law limits you to delivering, if you're a bearer, you can deliver 3 votes in one election, and you have to do it the proper way.
Right. Those challenges.
There has been evidence that people were delivering prior to the law that limited how much you carried. There's a documentary that shows that activists were delivering numerous ballots at multiple box sites in the last election.
I'm not aware of that, but I do know that the whole election process in New Jersey is something that's been talked about for years and years and years, and I think there's probably ways and laws they could make to tighten things up. But if things end up in court in front of a judge has discretion to not allow certain ballots. That is part of what happens.
Bill, thanks a lot for the call. Let's talk to Greg in Absec. And Greg, you're on with Judge Donia. Good morning.
Mr. Damasi, good morning.
Good morning.
Judge Anaya, good morning.
Good morning.
As far as the lock boxes, I don't know why they just don't have a timer on top of it. You have to register before you put it in. It would solve, if it showed up, if 50 showed up at a certain time, they're no good. That type thing. I do have a question, though. Do you have any idea of what we should call the Justice Department? We don't have justice anymore. They can... I know it sounds ridiculous, but we should have a name that we know is what's coming at us, because we call it justice, and it is far from what we're accustomed to.
Yeah, I don't know what name you would give it. I mean, I never thought of that. I can only tell you that as a judge, a former judge, I can only tell you that we have a pretty good bench in Atlantic Cape May County, and that when matters come before the court, I can tell you that honestly in this county that the judges call them the balls and strikes the way they see them, and that they are not swayed by anything except the law and relate the law to the facts of the case. And that's all that I tried to do, and I think that's all my colleagues tried to do, in this county. Overall what's going on in the country and everywhere else, I agree with you that it leaves a lot to be desired. And I think, quite frankly, that one of the big things on that is where you have election of judges. I mean, there's no perfect system. I mean, in New Jersey, as you know, the governor appoints, and it's supposed to be an even split between Republicans and Democrats. And obviously there's some politics involved. But, a lot of these other jurisdictions, you run for office, and the lawyer that donates to your campaign on Monday could be in front of you to argue a case on Friday. And I just don't think that's a proper system. And I think that the appointment system, even though there's politics involved and they try to keep an even split of D's and R's, is much, much better.
Greg, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate it. We were talking before, Judge, about a fair trial. And the other thing I wanted you to comment on, speaking of stuff that happened years ago, they're still talking about this Stormy Daniels trial. What's with that? I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's, listen, I mean, there's a agenda here, okay? And the agenda, from the, extreme left is to, ruin Trump, but break him financially or whatever, and to get him off of the ballot and off of running and whatever. These cases that are brought, perhaps they have merit, perhaps they don't. But, you have to look at the timing of all this stuff, and then you have to look at what the reason is for the timing of all of it. And then you go from there. But, it is what it is. And, he has to defend these things. That's why I say that one of the big things in my mind is because, there's always been rumors over the years that Trump has severely overstated his net worth, for obvious reasons, boastful, et cetera, in Forbes magazine and all these other places that say, oh, this is the richest guy in the world, and Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and Elon Musk, and, and they always said that Trump overvalued, his assets. Who knows what he's worth? Who really knows? But, when you got $355 million against you, $82 million against you, millions in legal fees, you have debt service on all these buildings and all these apartments and the upkeep and everything of Mar-a-Lago. What does he really have? And is he going to be able to withstand all this?
Yeah.
I don't know how the guy sleeps at night, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, you really, does one person really need all this aggravation and everything? But no, you know what it goes to show you? It goes to show you the ego that's involved and the quest for power and what is involved with that. That's what it goes to show you.
We are coming up on another break, Judge, and we got a couple people who want to talk to you, Dan and Howard, and maybe you at 609-407-1450. Atlantic County Superior Court Judge, retired Atlantic County Superior Court Judge Michael Donio is our guest, and he's ready to talk to you at 609-407-1450. I'm John DeMasi. More with Judge Donio after these words.
Chances are you've tasted the delicious fruits and vegetables from B.F. Mazzio, but didn't know it. That's because B.F. Mazzio has a huge wholesale division that delivers to area restaurants, schools, hospitals, and more. If you own a restaurant or run a commercial kitchen, call B.F. Mazzio's wholesale division at 609-641-6608. That's 609-641-6608. And don't forget B.F. Mazzio at 601 New Road in Northfield. Call 609-641-6608.
Joe Yakovich is registered with and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com.
Your WPG Talk Radio 95.5 AccuWeather forecast for South Jersey. This afternoon, clouds give way to some sunshine, turning breezy with a high 40. Breezy this evening, clear to partly cloudy with a low dipping to 19. Come tomorrow, breezy with plenty of sunshine, the high 44 to wrap the weekend. Monday, when you get back at it, plenty of sunshine on tap with a high 47. Partly sunny Tuesday, high 48. I'm AccuWeather's Ruth O'Brien on WPG Talk Radio 95.5.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose, 609-407-1450, our number here in the studio. Judge Donio, of course, he still has a practice, and he's doing a lot of mediation work. If you want to talk to him during the week, 609-481-2919. You have a legal question, certainly give him a call. He'll be happy to help you. 609-481-2919. And as I said, it's Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Let's talk to Dan in Linwood. Dan, you're on with Judge Donio. Good morning.
I'm loving this Fannie Willis witness participation here as she takes over the courtroom. I wonder how the judge would appreciate that.
Well, I think that she needs to understand who runs the courtroom. It's not the witness, and it's not her, but the judge runs the courtroom. And I'd like to see the judge, from the clips that I've seen, be a little bit more assertive and forceful. But that's another joke. I mean, I saw something last night that her father testified about how, she's brought up to keep cash in the house, to pay for all these things in cash. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just, it just goes back to, another, what I would think would be another, witch hunt.
Judge, the father actually was one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party in Los Angeles, and there were that the cops is the enemy are the enemy party, and so he is, and he was very, very, he was actually a good witness. It's trying to support her testimony, but it was about hiding cash in the house. I mean, let's just say for John and Judge Donio, if you had to make a choice and you only had two choices to hide, let's say, your $15,000 cash, would you choose Mar-a-Lago with the Secret Service and the cameras, or would you choose the open garage with the files or the cash basically in the box?
Well, I think, you answered your own question. You answered your own question. But, I mean, it's, that whole thing and her demeanor on the stand, the way she answered the questions, I thought that her credibility was shot from the little bit that I saw. I try not to watch this stuff. To be honest with you, I'd rather watch college basketball or something.
Yeah. Or Philly spring training, right?
Yeah.
All right. Howard in EHT. Howard, you're on with Judge Donio. Good morning.
Good morning. Judge Donahue has always been a very good guest of yours. Listen, I only have one perspective on this, and that is he doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like anybody else running. And he likes Reagan, who's been dead for quite a few years. I don't think we're digging him up. My point is being this. This is your choice. And you have to come up with the best decision you can make. And you got to make do with what you got, because you're not changing anything else. You're not bringing up any other names. So, who do you want to win this race, this presidential race? Then you have to look who's backing them. Then you have to look at what their past records are and where this country is. I mean, put it on a scale. And I'm sorry, I think this judge is not just got to face the reality of life. That's what we got. You got to deal with it. You got to use what you got. And that's what you learn when you're poor, working hard, or on a battlefield. You got to use what you got. All right, thanks.
Howard, thanks for the call.
Is there a question in there?
I don't know. I think he was questioning. Well, you said you didn't like a lot of the things that Trump said. And that's, I don't like a lot of the things that he said.
And I don't like Biden either.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I could live with Nikki Haley. But, he's right. He's right. You go to vote, you have two bad choices. What do? You vote for one of them or you don't vote. I mean,
The lesser of two evils, I guess.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I understand that. You have two bad choices. You have to make a decision, or you got to sit out. I get it.
Yeah. Let's talk about your old friend, Chris Christie. I understand Nikki Haley wouldn't accept his endorsement.
I didn't hear that. But I understand from him that he said he would not endorse her because she was one of the people that raised her hand on the debate stage that said she would support the nominee if it was Donald Trump. And I understood him to say he would not endorse her, which, his 20 people that follow him, she wouldn't get those 20 votes.
Yeah.
But, listen, here's a guy that's been running for president since he was in 8th grade, told everybody he would be president when he was in 8th grade in high school. He spent months and months in New Hampshire, never got any traction. Nationally, he was polling at 2-3%. But you know what? He won't go away. Now he's flirting around, talking about this third party thing. He's another joke. I mean,
it's kind of sad, isn't it? Isn't it sad?
It's power and it's ego.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that really gets me about him, to be honest with you, is this hatred for Trump. When he endorsed him, he wanted to be his vice president. He wanted to be his attorney general. The kid, Kushner, didn't allow that to happen. Then he wanted to be in the inner circle. He made numerous trips, to the Oval Office, during Trump's 4 years. He prepped him for the debates. He did all this, did all that. And he never saw that Trump is who Trump is, and that he says that he had to break from him when he would not accept the election results. Think of that.
Yeah.
Think of that.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And then you read these things from his advisors, the Bill Palatucci's of the world, that he did such a great thing for the country when he bowed out. Why don't, and that how they're all about the truth. Well, why don't they tell the truth? He bowed out because the money dried up.
Yeah.
And there's no way he was going to go in his pocket. He's too cheap. So why don't they tell the truth? Why don't they tell the truth about that?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? And now he's making the rounds again. He's on The View. He's fighting with the women. He's doing this. He's doing that. Just, you know what? Go do your lobbying and go do what you're doing and just, leave us alone.
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Yeah. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. We have another call, Judge. Maria in Absecon. Maria, you're on Talk with a Purpose with Judge Donio. Good morning.
Oh, hi. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to ask the judge why he thinks it's only ego and power that Trump is after. I mean, I don't see anything he did. He did all good things for our country. Everybody was independent.
Yeah, he did some good things. But you think that Donald Trump wanted to be president, run for president, just to do a few good things, or you don't think any ego and power had anything to do with it?
Well, I think it takes power to do it. You have to have power to do it.
Yeah.
And I also think, you got a president that's in there now. Most people don't believe that he was honestly elected. That it was fraudulent. So why shouldn't he challenge that? And also, what has Biden done anything good? He's done nothing good. I can't see. To me, he's hanging in there because he has lost so much of his wealth by becoming president. To me, he's not in it for himself. He's in it because he sees the country caving, and it's all giving into this global ideology.
I agree with you about Biden. I agree with you. I agree. It's pretty sad to watch him try to give a speech, but the teleprompter's not working or whatever. It's really hard to watch. But I agree with you. He's not.
I got to tell you, most judges, to me, and I know it's a big generalization. I feel like the judges are all about power, and I'm watching it on television while they're making all these charges that are so fabricated. It was fabricated while he was in office. Everything was fabricated. All the lies come out. Nobody's held accountable. All the judges make, like the judges this week, charging him $384, whatever it is, millions of dollars. And they're not just doing it to him. You know, you've got Alex Jones, and now you'll probably hold that against me because I might listen to Alex Jones.
No.
You know, like, I mean, it's all made up stuff to ruin these people. And it's not, they're not in it. They're not getting wealthy. They're not becoming powerful by going through all these court cases. They're trying to stick with it and do what they said they were going to do. Biden doesn't do what he says he's going to do, and none of the Democrats do either. I haven't seen an honest Democrat. I used to vote Democrat, but I see nothing honest. And Trump tells you exactly what he's going to do. And if you like what he's going to do, open up the pipeline, all that stuff, allow us to use gas in our houses, allow us to use gas ovens and all that stuff. If you like that, then you vote for him.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't get why you think it's power with him. He's lost power.
That's an oxymoron, an honest Democrat. Maria, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Talk with the Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Retired Atlantic County Superior Court Judge Michael Donio, our guest, and we got a couple minutes left with the judge. We got Andy in Brigantine. He wants to talk to the judge and maybe you before we leave you at 11 o'clock. 609-407-1450. We're coming back with more with Judge Donio after these words.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. Joe Yakovich is registered with and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
We are back here on Talk with a Purpose. Judge Michael Donio, retired Atlantic County Superior Court Judge. He is available in his office during the week at 609-481-2919. That's 609-481-2919. Any kind of legal question you have or a legal problem, you contact Judge Donio and he'll be happy to help you. 609-481-2919. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Andy in Brigantine. Andy, good morning. You're on with Judge Donio.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's a great day in Brigantine.
Yes, it is.
I think we're confusing the word ego with the word confidence or the word hubris. Ego is Beto O'Rourke thinking he can run for president when he's obviously unqualified to run a candy store. Ego is Mike Pence, who is a milquetoast who would get eaten alive by Putin or Xi Jinping or any of these other despots. Okay? Confidence is when you know you are capable of doing the job at hand. And I think Donald Trump's got plenty of confidence. And I think, look at what he's done with his life. He is an American original. I have a very close friend who absolutely despises this man. She did vote for him, but all of her hatred toward this man is wrapped up in the way he behaves. And I got to tell you, I know lots of women who are married to men who make Trump look like a choir boy. Okay, how many of the same men defended Travis Kelce 2 weeks ago and have no problem with toxic masculinity? And because Trump has mean tweets, we don't like him. He's a piece of crap. This is absolutely ridiculous. There is nobody in my lifetime on the national stage that could have gone through what Donald Trump has been put through over the past 5 years, 7 years, and still come out with a smile, still come out with confidence, still come out with a belief that he can do this job and turn this thing around. Okay? This is what they used to call Ronald Reagan, and you remember this, John. Ronald Reagan was the happy warrior.
Yes.
He was the happy warrior.
Yep.
And that's Donald Trump. So you have to put aside the fact that you don't like his tweets or you don't like his behavior sometimes. Think of, these people who don't like his behavior. Look at some of your best friends. Look at your own husbands. Look at the way your own sons behave. Okay, and I get it. He's the president. We expect more. But until Jesus Christ runs for president, we have to choose between fallible human beings. And Donald Trump is an imperfect vessel, but he's proven himself, and he's now been battle-tested, unlike anyone I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
Talk about being vetted and battle-tested. Donald Trump was in the public eye for almost a half a century, and how come he was never a racist or a bigot or a misogynist until he announced that he was going to be a Republican and run for president?
Yeah.
All those decades, he gave money to Republicans and Democrats. Everybody loved him. He was on Oprah Winfrey's show. He was on all the talk shows. Everybody loved him until he dared to run against Hillary Clinton as a Republican. Then he was a piece of crap.
Yeah, yeah.
So to go back to the previous caller, you have a choice to make, and I'm not speaking to the judge specifically, but everyone has a choice to make. Seth Grossman, if you're listening, people when you're in the solace of the voting booth, and you think about what Joe Biden has done and what he will do with 4 more years, but it's not him running it anyway. We know that. But if you think of what this country is going to be like in 4 more years or 5 more years, and then you think about how it was when Donald Trump was president, I got to think when you're by yourself in that voting booth, and you got to pick between two people, who are you going to choose? You're going to write in Nikki Haley? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's right. Andy, thanks a lot for the call. We're running up against the clock. All right, Judge, going to let you talk about, I'm going to tell you my contention here on the Phillies. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year.
Really?
So talk me out of this.
Well, you know what? One of my other friends told me that, too. I think on paper, they're better than last year on paper, but paper doesn't win playoff games and get in the playoff. They're going to have Turner for the whole spring training, Remuto, Suarez was hurt, they lost Hoskins, they signed Nola, they're probably going to re-sign Wheeler. They got a guy yesterday that's going to be a utility guy that's pretty good. I think their pitching is not bad. I think they probably do need one more arm in the bullpen. But on paper, I think they go into the season in better shape than they did last year. I mean, Turner, is he going to have 2.5 bad months like he did last year? I don't know. But on paper, I think that they look better. But listen, Mets are going to be better. Atlanta's always good. Who's going to beat the Dodgers with what they did?
Oh, geez, yeah.
All right, so you know what? The Phillies could actually have a better record than last year and not make the playoffs. That could happen.
Yeah, I just don't think they did enough. That's
Arizona is a young team.
Yeah.
They're young, but they're good. So listen, there's no guarantees.
No.
There's no guarantees, but You have to be somewhat optimistic, I think, going into the season that they appear to be, healthier, even with Marsh being out, till the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I think a big key is going to be the kid Rojas, whether or not he hits and he could play center field.
Yeah.
He's a great fielder and he could run. If he could hit, 250, 260, and be an everyday center fielder, that would be, good. Schwarber, listen, and these guys are all getting up now in their 30s. Schwarber, Harper, Realto, so the thing is closing up here.
Yeah.
So
just don't think they did enough. But
well, I don't think he's finished either.
Okay.
I think he's going to make at least one more move of some type.
All right, Judge. Thanks. As always, a pleasure to have you on the show. Judge Michael Donio, retired Atlantic County Superior Court judge. And if you would like to reach him, Judge, thanks a lot. If you'd like to reach him during the week, 609-481-2919, Judge Michael A. Donio. Talk with a Purpose is the show. Hour number 2 is in the books. Hour number 3 on the way. Girl Scout cookies. Don't go away.
WPGG Atlantic City, WENJ HD3 Millville, a Town Square media station. Everything you need to know in 6 minutes starts now. WPG Talk Radio 95.5 presents Talk with a Purpose. Join the conversation by calling 609-407-1450. Now the host of Talk with a Purpose, John DeMasi.
Hour number 3, Talk with a Purpose, every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. Good to have you with us. Our third hour here on the program. Nice to have Judge Donio back on the show. He does really give us a good perspective. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. We will give away Girl Scout cookies in this hour. We have a box right here sitting on the counter, and it's everything that Chris Coleman has to do to stop himself from opening one of them. I don't know how we're going to stop him. But we're going to give away the whole box. All 10 boxes of cookies are in one box here, and all varieties. It's just amazing. By the way, if you haven't bought Girl Scout cookies yet, you're going to be surprised. $6 a box. Inflation has hit the Girl Scout cookies. We'll get to John in just a moment. I just want to talk about this road diet in Atlantic City. It looks like the road diet is getting a makeover. The city has relaxed aspects of Phase 2 of the Atlantic Avenue Road diet. This will allow for more vehicle travel lanes in the busiest sections of the city. I'm going to tell you what my experience has been in a minute. A group of boardwalk casinos have joined Atlantic Care in a lawsuit to stop Phase 2 until the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, the good old CRDA, has a chance to review it and determine its effect on traffic flow. The suit contends the CRDA has jurisdiction over changes to traffic patterns in the city's tourism district under the state law. Now, let me tell you, in Brigantine, they did the same thing. Now, not to compare the traffic in Brigantine to Atlantic City, but when I tell you they made Brigantine Avenue 1 lane instead of 2, and the bike lanes are so wide they could fit 10 bikes, and this is what they're going to do in Atlantic City? I mean, have you ever seen 10 bikes biking at the same time? in the summertime, and again, this really happens in the summer, so we got 3-4 months out of the year where bikes are there, and that's okay. But 9 months out of the year, I haven't seen a biker. I haven't seen a biker since October in Brigantine. So what are they doing here? They're taking a car lane which you need and making it a wide bike lane. I mean, a bike lane is normally, how wide is it? A couple of feet? I mean, I'm talking about a bike lane that's 6, 7, 8 feet wide. That's what they did in Brigantine. And now it's one lane each way. And if you get a guy who's doing under the speed limit, you gotta, it's like, oh, come on, you know? So I just don't think bikers need that wide of a lane. If they do something similar in Atlantic City like this, I think it's going to be a disaster. But that's my opinion. You want to chime in on that, feel free. 609-407-1450. John is in Ocean City. John, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Just recently, President Trump, or retired from office President Trump, has been hit with a $359 million fine by a New York judge and cannot do business in New York State for 3 years. He's been ordered to pay out $85 million to E. Jean Carroll for defamation, even though rape was never proven. So if he's in it for prestige and popularity and power, he made a big mistake, didn't he?
Yeah.
But, you know, we didn't vote for him because he walks on water. And as a matter of fact, come to think of it, Dr. King didn't walk on water. The Kennedy brothers didn't walk on water. Abraham Lincoln didn't walk on water, and neither did George Washington. As a matter of fact, it was Abraham Lincoln that said our country will be destroyed from within. And just to think of it, maybe candidate Trump, businessman Trump, ran for office originally for business reasons. He sees our country going down the tubes, and it's really bad for business, maybe. And it is. The scorched earth policies of Biden and Obama have the capacity to destroy our nation. That's what's going on. If they really cared about alternative energy, they would take up with hydroelectricity where it left off when oil was discovered in Saudi Arabia circa 1938. They really cared about alternative energy. Or they'd be developing fusion torch technology, which would revolutionize green energy. They're not interested in that. They know that windmill energy is a farce, but they're going to make big money off of it. It was Andy from Brigantine who had said that those windmills are being made in China, our friendly neighborhood CCP. And don't lie to me. The CCP are the Nazis of the 21st century. They are too. You trust them? But yeah, this is what's going on in our beloved country of ours. And Putin, his recent opponent, Alexei Navalny, was murdered. Probably he died a mysterious death in jail. Who knows, right? But that's the Russian Federation. If Putin steps out of line with the Russian Federation, the same thing they did to him, Navalny, they'll do to Putin. So I'm not really a special pleader for Putin. Putin actually spent 15 billion rubles, 172 million American taxpayer monies, in the equivalent to U.S. money. Okay, I'm getting my words twisted. It's not good. Anyway, he built a mosque in Moscow to honor the Tatars. That's the Russian Muslims. So, okay, he offered an olive branch to his fellow Russian Muslims. However, Azerbaijan was exterminating Armenian Eastern Orthodox Christians. He didn't step in to help them at all. So, yeah, as long as he's in league with the Russian Federation, I don't trust the Russian Federation. The Russian Federation should withdraw from Ukraine now immediately, do reparations to all the damage they've done. And they can share control of the Crimean Peninsula, which leads to the Bosporus, which connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea. And that's what could be done, but that's not what's being done. And no, I don't trust them, but Putin did mention that the Nord Stream, and in his interview with Tucker Carlson, he mentioned that the Nord Stream 1 was destroyed. That's 2 pipelines. And the Nord Stream 2 was damaged. That's 1 pipeline was damaged and 1's left. If President Trump was in office, that probably, I doubt it, if that would even happen. And that's per Seymour Hersh, a renowned journalist. The Russians already knew who did it, but we found out through a renowned journalist named Seymour Hersh that, yes, the CIA, as Putin had mentioned, had destroyed those pipelines in cahoots with the EU and in cahoots with NATO under the auspices of this present administration. So if you don't see that this is present administration is the enemy of we the people, what can I tell you? Thanks for letting me call in again.
All right, John, thanks for the call. 609-407-1450. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi, also heard on 1450 AM and always online at WPGTalkRadio.com. That's there's all kinds of ways to listen. 609-407-1450, a rare moment in the show. We got a couple open lines, so feel free to chime in on anything we're talking about. I just wanted to comment on inflation. And I think we heard on the news earlier that it takes $1,000 more this year to buy the same goods that you bought last year. And they're saying inflation has subsided. Yeah, it's subsided. And I'm the tooth fairy. I just got to tell you this story. So I'm in the supermarket, and I got to buy olive oil. Now, olive oil always was expensive, but it was like $16, $17 for, that large bottle. Do you know, I bought it because I probably buy 2-3 bottles a year. Do you know what the price was? You ready? $34.99. Do you believe that? 34. Was there gold in that? $34.99. Inflation, huh? Thank you, Joe Biden. It has not subsided. It just, everything costs more. Rents are up. Mortgage rates were up. Everything was before, and again, under Trump, it was reasonable. But now, everything is super, super expensive. Oh, well. Here's another thing. I wanted to talk about this. Diversity initiatives would be defunded or banned from universities and other public institutions under a slate of bills pending in Republican-led legislatures. Now, already this year, Republican lawmakers have proposed about 50 bills in 20 states that would restrict initiatives on diversity, equity, and inclusion, otherwise known as DEI, or it would require their public disclosure. Meantime, on the other hand, Democrats have filed about 24 bills in 11 states that would require or promote DEI initiatives. So who will win? So we got Republicans on the one hand and Democrats on the other. The U.S. Supreme Court's last June decided ending affirmative action at universities created this new legal landscape around diversity programs in the workplace and civil society. I guess this will be an ongoing thing since the Supreme Court decision, but I welcome doing away with these diversity requirements. What do you think? 609-407-1450. Greg in Absecon is back. Greg, good morning. Welcome back.
Mr. Massey, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
As far as inflation, did you know that gas and groceries are not included?
Oh, yeah.
In that percentage?
I know that. Yeah.
It's like living in a la-la land.
Yeah.
The numbers they put out are bad.
Yeah.
But they do not, or whatever's happening to them are unrelated to what it's costing in the street.
That is right.
As far as I'm concerned.
That is right. Yeah. Yeah. When they give you the inflation reports, they don't include food and they don't include energy. Right. What are the two biggest things?
Exactly.
The
other thing, as Americans, we are responsible for this country. It's our responsibility to take care of it. We should vote. Everyone should vote.
Yes.
I don't care what party you're in. Get up off your tuchus and vote.
Yeah.
And make sure that you do. Put it, mark it on the calendar. Put a mark on your hand or something to remind you to vote. The other thing, Governor Murphy, has anybody ever asked him how many people have left the state of New Jersey?
No, but I bet you it's a lot of people. I'll bet you.
Yeah, and I'm wondering about the businesses. Because every time he starts increasing rates, that's the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
Because he has to refill the coffers.
Yeah.
So let's increase something else. It's insane.
Yeah. Do you remember
turn the parkway into a walkway?
Oh yeah,
because people are not going to want to drive on it. To go over to Philly is like
it's let's see.
Bank loan.
Let's see. Well, it's $5 for the bridge. It's $4 something for the big toll on the expressway, and it's $1 something on the Pleasantville toll. So I think that's $9, 9 something. Yeah, over 9. Yeah.
Don't say it too loud because he may consider it a low.
Hey, do you remember, Greg, when George W. and Al Gore, remember that election, how close it was?
Yes.
I mean, it was like...
The unattached.
Yeah. What it was like, it was like 900 votes. To your point, could you imagine, this would never happen, but let's just say you didn't vote because you didn't like either candidate, and Biden wins by 10 votes. How are you going to feel? How are you going to feel if that's the case?
Find me a bridge.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, we know that's not going to happen because everybody's going to vote this election.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They have any sense they should.
Let's
take care of the country.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Have a good one.
Well, you too. We do have a responsibility. 609-407-1450. Let's give away these Girl Scout cookies. And I'm going to give you a question that really requires some thought, but not too much thought. Okay. At the beginning of the show, I said the 3 best presidents in my lifetime were Reagan, Trump, and Kennedy. That's my opinion. And you may agree with me on that. May have 1 or 2 differences. But I want to go the opposite way. I am thinking of the 3 worst presidents in my lifetime. And I was born in 1950, and we were all born around the same time. Well, you're younger. Okay, Chris wants everybody to know he's in his 40s, okay? All right. You're an exception, Chris. All right, I'm thinking of the 3 worst presidents in my lifetime, okay? And one of them you should get without even thinking, okay? But you got to get all 3 to get the 10 boxes of Girl Scout cookies, valued at $6 a box. Inflation has hit the Girl Scouts. What can I tell you? Talk with a purpose is the show. 609-407-1450 is our number. We're coming back with more of the show after these words.
Chances are you've tasted the delicious fruits and vegetables from B.F. Mazzio, but didn't know it. That's because B.F. Mazzio has a huge wholesale division that delivers to area restaurants, schools, hospitals, and more. If you own a restaurant or run a commercial kitchen, call B.F. Mazzio's wholesale division at 609-641-6608. That's 609-641-6608. And don't forget B.F. Mazzio at 601 New Road in Northfield. Call 609-641-6608.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
We are back here on Talk with a Purpose. If you'd like to email me during the week, jdadv1@comcast.net. That's jdadv1@comcast.net. Email me anything you like, program suggestions, pro or con, or anything. We take it all on. jdadv1@comcast.net. And you can like us on Facebook at Talk with a Purpose. At Talk with a Purpose is our Facebook address. And it is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5. Okay. The three worst presidents in my lifetime. What are they? And the first caller is Dan in Linwood. Dan, good morning.
I'm going to give you my three first.
Okay.
Mine are Lyndon Johnson, Jimmy Carter, and, of course, Joe Biden. But yours are Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Jimmy Carter.
2 out of 3.
Excellent. Okay, that's... What'd you think of my number one? I thought Lyndon Johnson was the worst as far as you would think it would be Obama because he fundamentally changed America.
Yeah.
How do you like the change? How do you like the change?
No, I don't. No, I had one that I thought was worse. And
okay.
But thanks a lot, Dan. I appreciate it, and good choices, but. Well, he got 2 out of 3. So, John in Port Republic. John, good morning. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing? I'll try Joe Biden, Obama, and Nixon.
1 out of 3.
Oh, sorry.
No, Biden is obvious. That's
no problem. Thanks.
Thank you. Ruth in Summers Point. Ruth, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I am thinking Biden, Obama, and Carter.
2 out of 3.
Good morning.
2 out of 3.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, so far, he dropped? Okay. Well, we got Biden, we got Biden, and we got Carter. Those are the two obvious ones. I thought this president was worse because, well, look, they all lied. But he just did something that just irked me. I mean, it really irked me. By the way, prize pickup day at Town Square Media is Thursday. So you will have to pick these cookies up on a Thursday. Now, it could be this Thursday or it could be next Thursday, but you better get them by then because the gremlins here at the studios may eat them, you know? You think? The gremlins are going to eat them if they stay around here for too long? Yes. Oh, the three worst presidents. We got Biden and we got Carter. This one, you know, he was bad to me. I felt that he was, the worst. And you mentioned a couple others, and Nixon, and somebody said Lyndon Johnson. Yeah, they were bad, but Nixon did a lot of good things, I thought. He sort of ended the draft, and he opened up things with China. I mean, Nixon was a good president. He just was, what can I say? Let's talk to John in Ocean City. John, good morning.
Okay. How about Biden, Obama, Carter, yeah?
No. 2 out of 3 again. 2 out of 3. Obama is not one of them. I don't, he's not it, okay? So eliminate Obama, eliminate Lyndon Johnson. You're not getting this one. For some reason, you're not getting this one. And probably, I'll give you a hint, probably because he was a Republican. I don't have too many Republicans on the list. In fact, he's the only one. That's a hint. Tony in AC. Tony, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I was hoping to talk to Tonio. I thought I was banned. I was trying to call, but I'll give you my 3 picks. 1 and 1A. Got to be Lyndon Johnson because the welfare state created all the problems we have now, and of course Biden. And then for Republican, I think maybe Bush the second.
Okay, you got Bush the second, and you got who else did you say?
1 and 1A. I don't care how you put them. Biden, of course, and Lyndon Johnson with his Great Society, I believe, is the cause of where we're here today in our country, with fatherless families, welfare through the roof, giveaways. It's the American way. You work, you pay your way. Lyndon Johnson destroyed that.
Well, you got two. You got 2 out of 3. Okay.
All right, I didn't.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Tony. Al in Ventnor. Al, good morning. Welcome.
Hey, good morning. All right, so I think the 3 for you: Biden, Bush the second, and Carter.
You got it. You got it, Al.
Great.
The reason for George W. is because, the lie that he put forth, weapons of mass destruction. And he just, of course, you could have put Johnson in there, what he did in Vietnam, but George W. he was arrogant, and I just didn't like that. So, but you got it, Al. What we're going to ask you to do, Al, if you can come to our studios, which is 950 Tilton Road in Northfield, and you have to come on. You have to come on Thursday, and Chris is going to come on and get your last name so that we have a record of that, and your name is going to be on the box, and it's here, and all you got to do is pick it up on Thursday. Okay?
Great. All right. Thanks very much, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. The 3 worst presidents in my lifetime. Biden and Carter, obvious, okay? But I just thought George W., with his weapons of mass destruction and all those boys that got killed for no reason. There was no weapons of mass destruction. It was a farce concocted by Dick Cheney, who was Al. If you can call back, Al. Al's going to call back. Okay. That was my reasoning. So, but Biden and Carter, they're obvious. 609-407-1450. What do we got on the table here? Oh, let's see. Somebody was saying that Murphy, and he may raise the tolls. Well, Murphy's good at raising things, but when it comes to other things, like, when he shut down the state, didn't shut down the liquor stores, but he shut down churches.
That's okay.
All right. Get your information here. New Jersey, this is according to, well, there's an organization that says here New Jersey could face staggering deficits in the next few years,
Your address?
even if the state does not move to raise spending. This is according to a series of projections by a policy center led by former state Senate President and 2025 gubernatorial hopeful Steve Sweeney.
Did you get where we're located at?
Under a budget that includes no new government services, the state would face multi-billion-dollar deficits under the most optimistic projects drafted by a budget group at the Sweeney Center for Public Policy. This is something to look forward to, and of course, no one is to blame. But if Murphy continues on this path, we're gonna have a deficit. We're definitely going to have a deficit, and it's going to be a large one. And then Murphy's going to go to his villa in in Italy. My godson said to me the other day, he called me up, he said, I'd like to buy one of those properties in Italy. I said, wait a minute. Do you know what properties in Italy cost? Phil Murphy has a villa there. He's the governor, and he's worth $60 million or so. Yeah. Phil Murphy. So we're going to have deficits because, all he does is spend. Boy. What can I tell you? 609-407-1450. Got a couple of other things on the table. What do you think of the DEI initiatives that the other states are trying to push back on? And Democratic states are saying, no, we got to have DEI initiatives. But the Republican states, no more. You get where you're going on merit. Yeah. That's it. And Fannie Willis, boy. Oh, she's getting her boyfriend involved. Well, he's got to be paid a lot of money because he's a prosecutor, but he never prosecuted criminal trials. You can't make this stuff up, okay? Talk with a Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. 609-407-1450. You want to chime in on anything we're talking about? You want to talk about anything that Judge Donio had commented on? Feel free. But we got a lot of stuff on the table, and we've got some time left here on the show, so we got a lot to talk about. 609-407-1450. I'm John DeMasi. Coming back. More Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
If you're interested in driving one of the finest automobiles on the market today, then you'll want to check out all of the fabulous new and pre-owned Lexus at Lexus of Atlantic City. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Driving a Lexus is like no other vehicle on the market. Test drive one for yourself at Lexus of Atlantic City. Whether it's new or pre-owned, you'll be more than satisfied. In fact, Lexus is consistently #1 when it comes to customer satisfaction. Visit Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Or you can check out their outstanding selection of new, pre-owned, and L-certified pre-owned vehicles on their website, LexusofAtlanticCity.com. That's LexusofAtlanticCity.com. Or if you want more information, call 609-641-0008. Lexus of Atlantic City, now celebrating their 26th year in the area. A dealership that you'll enjoy. No pressure, no gimmicks, no hassle, no hype. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. And remember, always online at lexusofatlanticcity.com.
Your WPG Talk Radio 95.5 AccuWeather forecast for South Jersey. This afternoon, clouds give way to some sunshine, turning breezy with a high 40. Breezy this evening, clear to partly cloudy with a low dipping to 19. Come tomorrow, breezy with plenty of sunshine, the high 44 to wrap the weekend. Monday, when you get back at it, plenty of sunshine on tap with a high 47. Partly sunny Tuesday, high 48. I'm AccuWeather's Ruth O'Brien on WPG Talk Radio 95.5.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose. If you want to listen to any of our shows at any time, it's really simple. You Google John DeMasi podcasts, and they all come up. Over 200 shows. Boy, I'll tell you. Have I done 200 shows? If I think about it, I'll get tired. John DeMasi podcast, that's what you Google, and they all come up, and you can listen to any of them at any time. Talk with a Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Don't worry, Al, the winner of the Girl Scout cookies. If you win over $600, we have to notify the IRS. Well, they may be worth $600 someday, but they'll be eaten before then. So, no, they're not worth $600. Although they're close. Let's talk to Jeff in Galloway. Jeff, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Good morning, John. Good show this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could I take a swing at a couple questions real fast there that you threw out there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the first one on DEI. You can't pick a DEI without that brilliant press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre.
Oh, yes.
And what a darling there.
Well, she reads well. Did you ever notice? She's got her book in front of her.
She doesn't hardly read well, John. I mean, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
but as far as the worst, I don't want to rush, but as far as the worst presidents, I think you're being a little hard on George W. Bush.
Yeah, I never liked them. I really never liked them. I tried to the first couple of years, but I just didn't like them. That's me. In what
other people that bought into that, John, about the weapons of mass destruction, bad intelligence. He had them. He used them before against Iran. So I think the run-up and the execution of the war was bad. They tried to do it on the cheap, and that's what got us into trouble there.
Yeah. Well,
but as far as a worse president, and I'm going to give Bill O'Reilly the credit on this one.
Okay.
James Buchanan.
Okay.
The president before Lincoln that did nothing to stop the Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah, he's ranked, historians usually rank him at the bottom. They usually do. Yeah, they do. I agree with that.
I didn't know that. I learned that from, in fact, Bill is coming out with a book on all the presidents in September from Washington to Biden in his killing series. So that should be interesting. I always learn a lot reading Bill's books.
Yeah. I've read a couple of them. Yeah, they're good. They're good. But thanks for the call, Jeff. We appreciate it. Andy in Brigantine. Andy, good morning. Welcome back.
Yeah, John. As far as W, I liked him when he was in. I don't like the way he's behaved since he left office. I think we got to swap out, in my opinion, I think you got to swap out Bush, W, for Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson is the one who started all of these entitlement programs. Which is why we have the problems we have today. The fallout from that is generations of children with no fathers in the house.
Yeah.
Which then leads to the poverty, which then leads to the crime, that we're seeing all across this country. So, and Obama just put it on steroids, but it was Johnson who started it. You know, all these entitlement programs. So,
And how about escalating the war?
Well, yeah. Well, the war was ultimately his demise because you know, like the famous quote about Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
He said, "If I've lost Cronkite, I've lost the country." That's why he resigned.
Yes, that's right.
He resigned over Vietnam. Listen, I hope I wasn't too hard on the judge. I wasn't aiming my comments at him specifically, but I'm really sick and tired of this thing about Trump and his behavior and stuff like that. What I forgot to tell you, the person that I mentioned, a very close friend of mine who despises Trump, okay, we've had heated discussions to the point where I told her, look, we can't talk about this anymore or we're going to lose a friendship. And I've known this person for 50 years almost.
Wow.
So she texted me the other day, John, you could have knocked me over with a feather. She told me she's been thinking about this, and she said, I'm going to vote for Trump one more time, and only because he's the only one who can fix the border. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I want to talk about the Fannie Willis thing and how it ties in with the DEI. So you look at these various people, and, well, I won't even go there, but so you got Fannie Willis, you got Letitia James, you got Colleen Jean-Pierre, you've got Alvin Bragg, you've got who's the one that said about Trump we're going to impeach the MFer, okay? What do all these people have in common? You know, we're talking about her behavior in that courtroom the other day, and part of this DEI is lowering standards so that, quote, disproportionately affected people can get in, okay? So here's what we have around the country, and you may remember me talking about this. In Philadelphia a couple of years, they changed the laws where you cannot get pulled over in your car for like 8 different violations that would previously have gotten you pulled over.
Yes.
Including busted taillights.
Yep.
You know, expired license plate, no inspection sticker.
That's right.
Et cetera, et cetera. And they changed those laws because they said that they disproportionately affected people of color. So, John, it's not me saying this, it's them. So what they're basically saying is that it's only black people and people of color who drive around with busted taillights and no inspection, right? They're the ones changing the laws for these, okay, in California, and it's going to go across the country. There are schools where they do not punish with detention or suspension. They've raised what you have to do in a classroom to get you suspended or detained to the point where you pretty much have to pull out a gun and shoot people before you'll get punished. And they said again, because it disproportionately affected students of color. And then what we're hearing about the airlines, how you know, people of color aren't represented as pilots, et cetera, et cetera. So the answer is to lower the standards. When you change all of these laws and you lower the standards, and now you see people looting, stealing, they can take $950 worth of merchandise without being prosecuted. And they're the ones saying that we're doing this because these laws disproportionately affect people of color. So that must make them the racist. They're the ones essentially saying that it's only black people who loot, who drive around without insurance, who act up in school, et cetera, et cetera. So is it any wonder then when you have someone like Letitia James, who's part of all of this, who feels that she can behave in that courtroom the way she behaved the other day? Because we've told her it's okay to behave that way.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I personally, his name is Scott McAfee, the judge the other day.
Yeah.
Okay? Did you know that this Scott McAfee, this judge that sat there the other day and let Fannie Willis run his courtroom, when he first got out of law school, one of his first jobs was working for the Fulton County DA's office, and he worked under Letitia James.
Wow.
Okay? And did you also know that Roberta Kaplan, who was E. Jean Carroll's attorney, okay, she worked at the same law firm as the judge in that case, Lewis Kaplan, who also mentored her.
Oh, boy. That sounds like a conflict of interest.
You think? So, look, Donald Trump is being persecuted. He's being crucified. They're going to pull out all the stops to get this man. And, Letitia James is doing what she's doing supposedly to defend democracy, to protect democracy. But when she was running, one of the first things she said in the campaign when she was running was that Donald Trump was an illegitimate president. Well, wait a minute. When you question the outcome of an election, aren't you a threat to democracy? That's what they told us.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to question. So Letitia James, in her quest to protect democracy, is actually threatening democracy by saying that Donald Trump was not a legitimate president. But she's not the only one. Hillary Clinton said it. Stacey Abrams said it. So many of them said it. That he was not a legitimate president.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. You people are all election deniers. But when Trump questions the election, he's a threat to democracy.
Yeah, it's double standard once again. Double standard.
Letitia James walked in there. She had a great big chip on her shoulder. And I can tell you where that comes from. You saw her father testify yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So he was a Black Panther. Now, to be a member of the Black Panthers, I would think you pretty much have to see yourself as a victim of white people.
Yeah.
Okay? So this girl grew up in a house where her father lived his life as though every white person was out to get him. He used to trash the police, call them all kinds of names. So she grew up in a house where she believed that white people were always out to get her, so she had a chip on her shoulder. And if you noticed that courtroom the other day, John, 99% of the people in that courtroom were white. The stenographer was black. There were a couple other people that were black, but everyone else was white. And I'm telling you, remember when she said to the guy, "Don't yell at me," when she said to the prosecutor, "Don't yell at me"?
Yeah.
She's trying to set the stage that here again, this white man's picking on this black woman. And here I am in this courtroom full of nothing but white people, and they're trying to destroy me, a black woman, like it's another high-tech lynching, like Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
So people behave a certain way because over the last number of years, we've told them it's okay to behave that way.
Yeah.
That judge, she said, Fannie said she wouldn't emasculate a black man. Did you hear that?
No.
She said, I'm talking about her boyfriend because the prosecutor was asking her question. She said, "I will not emasculate a black man," but she sure emasculated a white one, that judge.
Yeah.
And he was afraid. He basically pulled a John McCain or Mitt Romney. He was afraid to go after her in that courtroom because he didn't want to be labeled racist. So he let her run his courtroom. That was an absolute disgrace.
Yes, it
Absolute
was.
disgrace.
And I think Judge Donio commented on that, too. Andy, thanks a lot for the call. We are coming up on our final break of the morning, and we'll talk to John after the break, and maybe we'll talk to you before we leave you at 12 o'clock. 609-407-1450. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. And I'm John DeMasi. Final thoughts on today's show after these words.
Joe Yakovich is registered with and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at Yakovich at brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich at brokersifs.com.
And we're back here on Talk with a Purpose. Again, 609-407-1450. That's our number here in the studio. Let's talk to John in Ocean City. John, welcome back.
Yes, if you want to go back to a different, go back to the era of Abraham Lincoln, go back to a different century. How about Andrew Johnson, a Democrat, surprise, surprise, who exonerated Albert Pike he never stood before a jury of his peers for atrocities committed on the Civil War battlefields, who I believe was the father of the Klan, but it was definitely the chief judiciary of the KKK and also a grand dragon of the Arkansas chapter of the KKK. We could notice they're all Democrats, but Bush, baby Bush, to find out those weapons of mass destruction, they had 7,000 American soldiers killed and over 1 million Iraqi citizens, civilians killed. And also, let's not forget the atrocities at the Abu Ghraib prison, So, yeah, I could never vote for a Bush ever again. Ever since I voted for both Bushes, but I could never vote for a Bush ever again.
Neither could I. No, neither could I. Yeah.
Yeah, the Franklin cover-up scandal. Look up the Franklin cover-up scandal, and that'll tell you a lot about what's going on. That Pizzagate is peanuts compared to what happened with the Franklin cover-up scandal. But thanks for letting me call in a third time.
Okay, thanks, John. Thanks for the call. Yeah, I liked the father, George Bush, but George W., that's another story. Bob and Cape May. Bob, good morning. Welcome back.
Hey, good morning, John. Look, all the Bushes are rotten, as far as
okay.
Yeah. I mean, the old man broke his promise on taxes. He gave us Bill Clinton. And the younger one gave us Barack Obama because he was such a rotten president that the country went for Obama. So, look, what I called about, and to dovetail off of Andy here, is that wimp judge letting this aggressive, obnoxious, chip on her shoulder black woman just run all over. Okay, I am just so sick and tired of the wide lane that is given these especially these black women who just seem so they think that this country has been so rotten to them when they are given all sorts of privilege that other people are not. And again, this judge, I mean, it was just disgusting what he let that woman do.
Yeah.
And to weave a web of lies to go unchallenged. And this judge was actually giving the defense attorneys not for the corrupt DA, but the attorneys for President Trump and the other defendants. He was really giving them a hard time. They were not able to impeach her very impeachable testimony, all this garbage about cash, right, John?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to receive all this garbage that they reimbursed each other in cash, and that she's got all this cash laying around her house. I mean, come on. We'll see if this judge has the tough, has the backbone to find the obvious finding.
Yeah.
He should be disqualified from this case.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's got the backbone. I would say he probably doesn't.
He probably doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, I would think so. Bob, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Hey, John. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good week. 609-407-1450. Just real quick on Fannie Willis. You've heard all the people who've said what she did, and, you know, she was running the courtroom. Supposedly, Willis and her supposed lover, prosecutor Nathan Wade, were caught hugging and kissing as early as November 2021. So that is 2+ years, 2 years, 3 months before Wade was hired as a prosecutor. So, what do you think? Trump's attorneys are arguing that Willis and Wade have a conflict of interest and should be removed from the case. Yeah, come on. You know, it's a conflict of interest, plain and simple. Greg in Absecon is back. Greg, welcome back.
Mr. Massey, good morning.
Morning.
Her relationship with the gentleman went back to 2019.
Oh, even further, yeah.
Yes, yeah. People were on the stand swearing to God. You know, the other thing we got to keep in mind, we're the white devils. Under any circumstances, we're the white devils, period.
Yeah, yes.
That's where we start out. You know, as far as the weapons of mass destruction,
yeah,
they were never in that country.
That's right. That's right.
No, well, what he did, when he ordered them, he made arrangements for them to be spent somewhere else. And they took them out and showed them an 18-wheeler, and it said, it's full of money, 20. That's yours. That's your first payment. But you're going to store these things for me. And, of course, oh, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's what they did. There was not a trace of anything because they were never there to begin with. He was not a stupid man.
No.
He was getting rid of all the money out of the country as fast as he could.
That's right.
Emptying all the banks, you know, all the gold was gone. Now he had all our paper. So the man was not straight.
No, he was not. That's for sure. That's why I listed him as one of my worst presidents. Greg, thanks for the call. One more thing. Did you see where former Atlantic County prosecutor Damon Tyner was hired in Cumberland County? Now, I don't think he's prosecutor. I think he's assistant. I don't know what the title is, but he was hired by Cumberland County. Can't make this stuff up. Now, if you were, I mean, anybody, you're fired from a job for fooling around on your wife in a car, in a parking lot. I mean, I don't know. It's another bad look, okay? Cumberland County, you can have him, okay? Keep him out of Atlantic County. And with that, we put the wraps on another edition of Talk with a Purpose. Many thanks to Judge Donio for coming on today and contributing as he does each and every time. We really enjoy having him on the show. And thanks to Chris Coleman, our program director and producer, for doing his usual outstanding job. He's got to guard the Girl Scout cookies. That's his job during the week. And, of course, thanks to you, our listeners, for contributing, because without you, well, we don't have much of a show. I'm John DeMasi. Thanks for listening. Have yourself a great week. We'll talk to you next Saturday, 9 till noon. Talk with a Purpose, right here on WPG Talk Radio 95.5. You take care.
The preceding program was paid for and presented by John DeMasi.